Good evening, future officers. Welcome back once again to Toppers Academy Morung Express newspaper analysis for the 27th of February 2026. I hope you all are doing well and preparing with consistency and determination. As we approach the end of the month, tomorrow is the last day for this very particular month. Take a moment to reflect on your preparation. Have you been consistent with your newspaper notes, or are you revising regularly? So these are the reflections, and this reflection is a powerful tool that it helps you to correct the mistakes before they become our habits. Today we will analyze the Morung Express newspaper with clarity and precision. By now you should be able to quickly filter those important news for general reporting. Focus especially on the governance related developments, administrative decisions, socio-economic issues, and the matter concerning the state of Nagaland and the Northeast in particular, and in the general sense, to the extent of India, alright? Or international news will be that concerns with India. So ito ang mo focus tiyo lagi. While reading, train yourself to think in terms of the causes behind this very particular issue, who are the stakeholders that is involved, the administrative and the constitutional relevance to your syllabus, or the administrative and constitutional relevance of the very particular news, short-term and long-term solutions if they have given, then that extract corby, or you can make a note of your own to find a solution to it. And remember that the good civil servant is a solution-oriented. Problems to you to kun prohilibi point kurina tikau paro itu problem asi itu asi holibi. As a civil servant, as an administrator, we should also know how to find solution to the very particular problem. Your preparation must reflect that mindset. So every issue that you read should end with a practical and balanced way forward. Stay disciplined, stay patient, and keep improving one step at a time. Let us begin today's analysis with the seriousness and determination. So the first article for today's very news article is Nagaland Agri Policy awaits cabinet approval. So yet to moment discuss rule and nice, since we have covered this I think yesterday and day before yesterday, that we're going to have an Northeast Festival of Rice. Northeast Festival of Rice thaikula ase. Theme the key Northeast Festival of Rice, Grains of Heritage. Kuti thaikuli do Agri Expo na Fort Malde. Alright, so here the varieties of rice on display. So they will, from the whole northeast of India, they will bring in the different varieties of rice and then they will display there. Okay, so it's a very interesting event that is happening. So for the diverse communities of the northeastern region of India, rice represents more than a dietary commodity. It lives at the heart of the people's cultural heritage and collective identity. Yes, see, rice to hiliro mga daily food karnik lang no, it also carries a lot of cultural significance na. When we look at the festival of the different tribes of the state of Nagaland, we will notice that ito festivals kando, its majority of the festivals are related to the harvest. Okay, pre-harvest or post-harvest festivals. So we can see that agriculture and also staple food to rice as well. Rice, this forms a very big portion, or say a very big aspect of the Naga's culture heritage and also a collective identity. So this distinction from the central theme of the inaugural Northeast Festival of Rice. So this is going to be the first edition in the state. Alright, so Northeast Festival of Rice, Grains of Heritage. So Fort Malde Agri Expo started yesterday. Alright, organized by the NTSC Nagaland chapter. It yesterday already covered Kodishe. I won't be mentioning anymore. Then we have this NMSA clarifies stand on the contractual medical officers issue. Still the MO lagay do medical officers, class 1 gazette officers who were appointed during the COVID time. Tangan regularization laga process de 97 medical officers regularization kurala de. The issues is still going on, and this has been a news that has been repeating for quite some time, since I think last year. So ito to awanan to continuously follow korda gele context already buji na thakibo. So ajila news tv ki clarification ta dina ase alop short from one side lo. So the Nagaland Medical Students Association has issued a clarification regarding the regularization of contractual medical officers appointed during the COVID-19 pandemic, stating that it has no connection to a special leave petition reportedly filed in the Supreme Court on this matter. For those who are going to appear your mains, please prepare a note on what is the special leave petition for 2 marks, okay? So the special leave petition to kiman parbi news dedication ni jani re. To tiki dage to nahisho guli bi at least abuden do no sekta ponai rakisho do someday or the other a question will arise on this special leave petition to ki aje kona te to right to the not shoot ekta ponai. So this special leave petition was filed in the Supreme Court. I'll be covering this special leave petition in the coming days. A part of movie try kuro cover krole short brief te na. So for now abuden no sekta ponai rakibi. Any suggestions or assertion to the contrary is factually incorrect, misleading, and must not be attributed to NMSA. It clarified in a statement, neither the NMSA nor any bona fide member have filed any appeal or petition or SLP before the Supreme Court concerning the regularization process as of date. So, special leave petition ekta file korana guje NMSA member kun prabi or bona fide member kun prabi nulibi NMSA la nam de itu special leave petition do Supreme Court te file korana kona tan itu ekta clarification diase de. So the special leave petition tagan ko do in question that is pertaining to a private legal action initiated by 3 individual doctors who were appointed during the COVID period but were excluded from the list of 97 contractual medical officers and were subsequently regularized, it added. So ki hoise ki itu to special leave petition Supreme Court te file kora dole do 3 jun medical officers 3 jun kutu COVID era de itu 97 manu logot tagan 3 jun bi osa do appoint kurse kuse olibe tan 97 dole do this contractual officers kan dole do tagan regularize ko diala ko ase olibe tan 3 jun la do maybe it has not been mentioned under this 97 contractual medical officers te tan itu 97 machote tan 3 jon na nam to nayola itu pra tan 3 jon bra itu special leave petition ekta file kurise. All right, COVID doctor posts were temporary. So it our further clarification ekta diase by the Nagaland Medical Students Association, and this is a very concerning thing. I don't know how the case will end, and we're not in that capacity, not in the position to say who is right and who is wrong. Here news tiki ase itu hi mohan to reflect role ase aro yate ba ki extract group are itu hi mohan lobo, and then we will see from the both side, and let's see what will unfold in the coming days. So COVID doctor posts were temporary. So the Nagaland Medical Student Association asserted that the official recruitment the official records have confirmed that the COVID era medical officers appointment were temporary in nature. So the COVID time te to medical officers kan ki kun kan ki appoint korise itu to temporary karne thakise, temporary appointment thakise, will be permanent thakana ineka koise. They were made for a fixed duration of 12 months karnikla appoint korise or intended to subsist only until regular recruitment was conducted through the NPSC. Takan 12 months noili to at least till the regular recruitment no bungjala time tak takan itu turi thakibo. So any attempt to convert such temporary engagement into permanent appointment would directly contradict the explicit terms and intent under which these appointments were made, it emphasized. So itu laga bypass korikina NPSC ke bypass korina tangi temporary recruitment karne ase korna appoint korina she direct tangi ne regularization di issue guliro itu bypass kora nisna ajo inika koise. So what they also mean to say, or what we can also see as a reflection from this very particular article, is that during the time when the COVID was going on, itu contractual karne class guliro manu kan bi itu karne to contract to moi to kurumo nai ka manu kan bi thaki jai, though they were degree भी पाई जैसे एग्जाम गान भी ती थाके तो तान भी ओपन रिक्रुटमेंट करने रुके थाके होली भी कॉन्ट्रैक्चुअल दी तो मोई इनका जॉइन करिना टाइम इते वेस्ट को थाके मन नाइ करना जॉइन नकरा मन भी थाके. सो दाकान भी एप्लाई नकरिना थाकिबो और कोनो पूरी थाकिसे तो तान भी कंप्लीट होना तान भी एप्लाई करना ना थाकिबो. सो इतो टाइम तो 97 होबी 100 का किमान जुन उतो टाइम दे तान एप्लाई करसे तान तो टेम्पोररी करने आसे कोना एप्लाई करसे होली भी किने न तान परमानेंट करिसे तो नो हो गएसे. Because if from the very beginning itu contractual de appoint korando covid khatam hoina permanent kori dibo ina koisu goli to itu 97 noilbi 100 manukla noina 200 300 manubi apply ko thakise pare na robi holbi takan contractual ase kobra itu there were lots of people who did not even try na that is something that we can see from their resentment from this very particular article that is following the for this past few days or past few months. So while acknowledging and respecting the services and the sacrifices rendered by the healthcare workers during this pandemic, so of course they are also acknowledging and also respecting the services that and the sacrifice that the medical officers and other medical staff, healthcare staff have contributed during this very crucial time when nobody was willing to come and do this tough job. Na ekdam risk thagala kam ekta kurule risk associated thaisinu. So boisa karne kla noili to job ekla karne to kun manno la life to sacrifice kurna ni ho will be this because of the love for the people and then for the manu laga help kuro laga to mindset phal thakara tambi do sacrifice or service to contribute korise will be to karne to tambi acknowledge korase respect korase. However, the NMSA maintained that the recognition and the reward must be granted strictly in accordance with established service rules and recruitment norms without bypassing constitutionally and statutorily mandated bodies such as the NPSC or the NSSB. Holi tan koise hoi tangana sacrifices ki thaise tangana services ki thaise itu to tangi recognition and reward to strictly in accordance with the rules na maybe tangi chutu age relaxation diu lage or say tangi marks all of extra compensate ko dise pare. That is something that maybe it is in the service rules. So even me, I'm not aware of what is there in the service rules, so I won't be focusing any further or discussing any further on this very particular regard. So that is beyond my understanding as of now. So inika gushe to tagan brai to NPSC and NSSB pra conduct kro laga power kona chala to itu ekdam bypass kor do phal nai ininga ta tagan bi koise. It placed on record that over the past decade maybe 10 years or 20 years or 15 17 years down the line in the past, only approximately 61 medical officers la recruitment ajidak ti olagina ase through the NPSC day. So 61 officer la through direct recruitment NPSC ro conduct korna khosise na direct recruitment korse all the stages cross korna chaise through the NPSC. Hulbi sabi 10 to 17 20 years, I don't know which keman decades la kota korse a decade is just 10 years. Okay, so even if we have to take it as 10 years or 11 years, in these 10 years only 61 recruitment hoshe, which means per year it's only about 6 years, hardly 6 manon is na recruit for us na. So in these 10 years 6 into 10 is 60, right? So in these 10 years, which means yearly 6 niche recruit ko na will be 2019 2020 page 2019 into COVID-19 time to achanak se 97 recruit ho na. So see, it would have taken 15 to 17 years of recruitment process laze. Will be tahan to ek par bra 97 contractual medical officers ke permanent kori ase. So it will be ekta tahan issue because it to tahan screening korise test loise ki koise will be it is done on from the side of the department only. Okay, NPSC la involvement taka na ide aro taka la claims bi thik ase ki itula nisna ekdam it's a very do or die situation ekta ase. NPSC ke to recruitment karne tahan ke enforce kori dina itu rukhi daise uli to it might even take 1 year to inika emergency situation de 1 year kina rukhi baro man itu aro NPSC mi kina function kori na COVID-19 time de na the situation was very tense during the time. Ito prahi tahan ki to appoint korna thakala ase. So the regularization of the 97 contractual medical officers through the departmental screening constitutes a serious deviation from the Schedule 2 Clause A of the Nagaland Health Services Rules of 2006, which mandates a 100% recruitment of Class 1 candidate medical officers through the Nagaland Public Services Commission. So medical officers is a Class 1 candidate officer, okay? Class 1 candidate officer. Ito STO technical la line dito STO na aro civil service TV ESC TSP la rank kasi do medical officers to ito anto direct inika through contractually question na regularization crew kala to no hobo kasi because 100% of the class 1 gazetted officers, okay, even for medical officers should come through the NPSC kwese. All right, ito tahan bi ito to object korase. Such deviation sets a dangerous precedent that undermines the recruitment integrity, institutional credibility, and the long-term stability of the state's healthcare system. So we can also have a trust on the very department that have recruited them, because it's their department. Whatever happens, pal biya happen of department na mata dego. I'm sure that the department has gone through the proper procedure for appointing them. Alright, itu ad hoc karni appoint kulibi tambi qualified manu ki appoint kurbo. That is my take on that, and then I have trust in the department as well. However, during that emergency time, kunuba mistake pra, no, qualified through NPSC kurisuguli qualified ki lage criteria kan it one no bungji kina thakia kan bi appoint karna thakile. Maybe someday we will go to the hospital and we will be treated by such people. Okay, and then we never know if such an unfortunate situation arises, then manula life be at risk ho jai na. Ito right to be the questionable like ho jai. However, here I'm just raising some questions. This is not a concrete take on that one, and I have no. I'm just raising whatever they have been describing from this very article. Okay, so they have also urged the fear COVID weightage, not selective regularization. So expressing concern over the future of the medical recruitment in the state, NMSS stressed the need to uphold transparent and competitive selection mechanism, cautioning that any dilution could have long-term consequences for aspirants and healthcare workers planning. It expressed concern regarding the future recruitment prospects. So with 100 Mbps seats annually at the NIMSR and 85 reserved for indigenous independents, 15 for all India quota, and approximately 60 seats for the central Bull Nagaland state, pursuing medical education outside the state of Nagaland is expected to produce nearly 160 medical graduates each year. Okay, so every year 160 medical graduates will have. Okay, and then itu medical graduates kan to government service te in exam dibo gili to itu post karni khetawo to itu post exam dibo to itu 97 aje recruitment ekta direct dia to itu kita khali ho to na vacancy no lao jabo aro medical graduates iman potao jabo government sector dibi tan job karni bi apply bi ko na pro jabo. It becomes an injustice for them as well na. To inika tan labi ekta issue concerning ekta se see the government la side prabi aro ita regularization process te thagala 97 medical officers can be, they have their own rights as well, they have their stand, and dagan nijola side tv tana perspective ase, and this is what the NMSA la perspective prokwase tekta moi highlight korese. Tomorrow, even if the 97 medical officers or the government come up with any rejoinder to this one, I will still be talking on that one. Okay, so here my job is to make it much more clearer of this very news, and then concept to buchu lage mon in the future also mon be it one situation can arise someday kinika handle crew like situations can as an administrator we will try to understand. Okay, so NMSA called for granting appropriate weightage of the COVID-19 services within an open and competitive examination framework. Such benefits must be confined to a select of predetermined group, ensuring that the contribution of those who served on the front line during the pandemic are recognized equitably, it emphasized. While expressing appreciation to the government and Naka Students Federation for constituting a high-powered committee, NMSA appealed to the government high-powered committee and the NSF to arrive at an amicable, inclusive, and constitutionally sound resolution. So let's see what will happen in the coming days. We are very much interested to follow this very news, and let's see what will unfold in the coming days. We are not for and against any other particular group. We will just follow the news and see how it ends. Alright, Supreme Court bans. So whenever you read a news also, or whenever you read any articles, don't make judgments or don't make your own decision just by listening to one side. So we should always be in the neutral na middle de thakina right left so puni thakyo like one. Okay, so let us not be that quick to judge, and let's see what the rejoinder will come in the coming days. Alright, Supreme Court bans NCRD book over chapter on judicial corruption. So you have been following this reels kandibi like go issue there, and then in some of the news also you will have heard about this, that the Supreme Court laga against judicial corruption like the mentioned korna lagi se, NCERT la textbook social science studies la book te class 8 la de. So it will regarding the Supreme Court like the order this. So the Supreme Court on Thursday imposed a complete blanket ban, okay, on any further publication, reprinting, or digital dissemination of the NCERT's Class 8 Social Science book as it contains offending content on corruption in the judiciary, saying a gunshot has been fired and the institution is bleeding. The government on its part expressed anguish over the inclusion of the controversial section in this book, with the Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan promising to fix accountability and take action against those who are involved in this drafting of it. I don't know if they have done the editorial board or the person who were in charge of framing this textbook tagamra intentionally kurishina na they are becoming the scapegoat or political victim that we don't know. This is beyond our understanding and beyond the coverage of this very particular news, but let's see what will unfold in the coming days. But let's hope that the truth prevails. Observing that there appeared to be a deep-rooted conspiracy and a calculated move to undermine the institution and demean the dignity of judiciary, the Supreme Court directed that all copies of the book, both physical as well as the digital, আজিকালি the PDF TV PC পাই যায়, currently in circulation be seized immediately and removed from public access without any delay. A bench headed by Chief Justice Suryakant issued a show cause notice to the NCERT Director and the Secretary of the Department of School Education, asking them to explain why action not be initiated against those found responsible for introducing the offending chapter. So the National Council of Educational Research and Training, NCERT, of Social Science textbook for Class 8 in caution states that corruption, a massive backlog of cases, and the lack of an adequate number of judges are among the challenges faced by the judicial system. So Solicitor General, who is supposed to be the Solicitor General Tushar Mehta, who is supposed to represent the government, right? So tendered an unconditional and unqualified apology on behalf of the Department of the School Education. Mehta said the two individuals who prepared the chapter would never be associated with any activity of the ministry again. There are 32 books which went out in the market and which are being withdrawn. The rest of the books we are not circulating. The entire chapter will be revisited by a new team, the top law officer said, adding. NGTA demands inclusion of the salary components into the state non-plan. So ito to discuss kroli ko nai. We know what is going on with the NGTA. Takana demands ki azay na centrally sponsored scheme nagabra noy na ito to mohan ke kiba lade NLTP ko azay under the state non-plan budget te. So the teachers were holding a placard saying that the mainstream on the paper still paid on the centrally sponsored scheme. Stop this tyranny. 2,293 voices, one demand, state non-plan budget for every hand, irregular salary, unbearable agony, anti tyranny, and more. What will happen in the coming days, we will see. We also have heard about this bend down strike, 2 days bend down strike, which now they're having an indefinite strike. In this very particular first day, about 1,500 out of the 2,293 aise kunuba pimar kunuba pacha chudu thakagan iton ayu parnai pare olibi pacha kan to aikina tan. They were demanding for justice, okay, and answers from the department and the government. Nagaland Red Cross vows to uphold humanitarian principles. The Indian Red Cross Society, Nagaland State Branch, observed its 44th Foundation Day at the Red Cross Complex Conference hall in Kohima and reaffirmed its commitment to serve the society based on 7 fundamental principles of the Red Cross. IRCS Nagaland State Branch was established in 1982. So itutu abunyan MCQ karni important day. So the IRCS, the Indian Red Cross Society of Nagaland State Branch, was established in 1982 and recognized state unit of the national society, marking the formal beginning of organized Red Cross work in the state. Dimapur District Administration seals multiple illegal check gates. So on receiving the order from the department concerned, now the action is going on from the administration that they are closing the illegal or say unsanctioned toolkit or jacket, which has been run by some of the town councils, okay, town councils or municipal councils. So itu pon kodina chahiye. So when you become an officer, you will also be part of this very particular administration, and you'll also be part of this implementing process or enforcement process. Senior officers attended ethics and values workshop in Kohima. A 2-day training program on ethics and values in public governance for senior level or government officers commenced on February 26th at the Administrative Training Institute in Kohima. So those who are preparing for mains, Administrative Training Institute is one of the topics that you can prepare for 10 marks, alright? The training will be attended by 25 NCS and NSS officers, that is Nagaland Civil Services and Nagaland Secretariat Service officers, in the rank of the Joint Secretary and Additional Secretary of the Government of Nagaland, stated the DIPR report. The training is conducted in collaboration with and the Department of Personal and Administrative Reforms. Please study the Department of Personal and Administrative Reforms as well. Those who are preparing for your mains exam. That is Nagaland portion de 10 marks kan de 5 marks di ahe. And the Institute of the Secretariat Training and Management, I do learn regarding the question to ana ito, but you can always go and have a look at it. Special address was delivered by V. Shashank Shikhar, IAS, Director General of the Administrative Training Institute, and the Additional Chief Secretary, Agriculture and Agricultural Production Commissioner. He exhorted the officer trainees to set an example of integrity as they hold more responsibilities in the state government. They were also reminded of the obligation as those occupying responsible government positions to find a solution to the various problems faced by the society and to ensure that the government machinery functions effectively or efficiently for the welfare of the common people. So as a civil servant, when you reach the rank of a senior officer, you'll also be part of the policy making. When you are officers join Korina Vishide, young officers abuni senior level de chamde, you will be part of this implementation process, the enforcement process. So aste when you become a very senior, you'll also be part of the policy making. So he also noted that it will be one of the most important thing of a civil servant or an officer in the government is to have to be very ethical, ethics thakibo lage. So this ethics paper is also very interesting and important. So you should also have some reading on this ethics topic for the UPSC pattern develop purisabi, so that it will be helpful for your upcoming exams as well. So ethical thakibo lage aro welfare of the common people should come first. So apani to officers ase government servant hobo lage, no, we should not rule over people, okay, we should serve people. That is a true essence of a civil servant. So he also noted that any deviation from the government code of ethics can lead to undesirable situation of government funds not reaching the most deserving and vulnerable section of the society. So whenever one scheme ekta or say government pra one ki interest kurise, or say the concerned department pra ki mon ki enforce kurise, mon ki das dise, we should do it with accountability and with a sense of responsibility and without any mismanagement. Because when we do some mismanagement or do some undesirable things, it will lead to undesirable situation, undesirable results, where the most deserved people and the vulnerable section of the society will not get what they deserve. So many a times, not criticizing any of the officers, but many a times we have also heard and seen situations where the most deserving, the vulnerable ones, are not the ones who are benefiting from these very particular schemes or programs, but it is those people who have better connections at the higher level, or say those who are closer to the closer to the people who are in the implementation process are benefiting out of this. It is not about we cannot say that it is the fault on the part of the department or the administration, but there is always some miscommunication and management gaps, so that we have to fill those gaps and try to make sure that every resources are effectively and efficiently used for the said purposes, and that it is reaching the most deserving and most vulnerable section of the society. So if we don't do that, then it will be an offense, not only in the legal sense but also in the terms of the moral and social issues, social values. So mogan itu fulfill kora nai kuli to dito, no legal sense to be mon correct nai as an officer, and even from a moral perspective as well as the social values manon bi mon ke trust hari jao. Okay, so as an administrator magan para tak government ke trust kru para laga mon kam kurina serve kru laya manon ke. Article 371A, not a barrier to climate action. Why Kiketo Sema? The Nagaland Principal Secretary of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Y. Kiketo Sema, has emphasized that Article 371A, those bring for remains, please prepare, please study, memorize all the provisions of Article 371A, and also study the powers and functions of the state governor of the state of Nagaland with special references to Article 371A. This is going to be very important for your mains exam. Alright. So whenever you go through the news articles, if you see such mentions that is relating to your, or I should say the catchphrase, alright, the theme that is relating to your very particular syllabus, please mark it down, write it in your notebook, and you can see that over the months or over the weeks and days, you will see that there's a theme that keeps on repeating in the news over and over again, and those themes become very important for your exams. And the themes that are in the news for almost a year or two, most of the topics, most of the questions for your essay and your descriptive will come from there itself. And even for your MCQ and all, those themes which are in the news that is relating to your or relevant with your syllabus topics, the questions used to come from there as well. Alright, so itu pra apni puram di hotai ekta theme to record korna rakhibi noibi catch phrase kan sabi itu mula syllabus ti asina nai, itu mula syllabus te thakile ki subject la di relate kuru paro na. For example, NLTP lemon kota korase to NLTP to we can relate to the Nagaland topic na. News ti NLTP as ugli to syllabus ti NLTP as to exam ti NLTP ekai do, so start focusing on that one na. YTP article 371A tikishin. Alright, to 371A to it's a part of your Nagaland syllabus, so you can focus there also. So article 371A should not be misconstrued as a barrier to environmental responsibility, asserting that the impact of the climate change transcends all constitutional and administrative boundaries. So he was speaking at the 2-day annual review cum planning workshop of the Forest and Biodiversity Management in the Himalayan Nagaland project, okay, FBMP. Please make a note on this one for 5 marks. Komti pe ubare pishi pe ubare lini 5 karne to ponai rakhile pa ase. It was co-financed by the Federal Republic of Germany. See, like I always say, whatever has been funded or co-financed by some other international countries or some other international organization, that is going to be very important for your exam, such as the Nectar project funded by the World Bank, not supported by the World Bank, or say JICA project supported by Japan. Itu kan sob important as day. Itu problem to sob focus kurbi. Through the KFW as the Conference Hall Forest Office Complex Kohima on February 26. As per the DIPR report, Sema, who also serves as the chairman of the Nagaland State Biodiversity Board, highlighted the visible effects of the climate change within the state, including erratic rainfall pattern. Okay, what is erratic rainfall pattern? Okay, someone please write in the comment section. Let us learn from each other. Erratic rainfall pattern. Trying water sources. So water scarcity regarding the question already came last year essay would be for this year. You can also expect for 10 to 20 marks water scarcity in the state as well. Now he stressed the need to sensitize the local communities on the direct link between conservation effort and their own livelihood security and long-term well-being, referring to the shifting cultivation. So shifting or the chum cultivation, if you're reviewing the question paper for the past few years, you will surely have noticed or come across chum cultivation at least 5 to 10 times to tikhina thaiko question do. Idro morom bra chum cultivation to be study koride, or chum or shifting cultivation. He said while traditional practice are respected, there is a need to adapt and adopt more sustainable methods wherever possible. With over 70% of the state's population residing in rural areas and depending heavily on the land-based activities, he underscored the importance of scientific planning and community cooperation to reduce pressure on forest resources. He has also expressed a concern over the decline in the forest cover in the recent years and underscored the need to address root causes, including sustainable practices. So FBMP enters fourth year of implementation in the state of Nagaland. Presenting the project status, the project director informed that the FBMP is a part of the government of Germany's financial cooperation with India signed in 2016, focusing on sustainable and effective management of forests and biodiversity in Nagaland. So the project has been under implementation since 2020 to 21 and aims to strengthen adaptive conservation planning at the village, community conserve area and landscape levels, improve biodiversity management in selected areas, enhance livelihood of targeted communities, and build stakeholders' capacity in conservation. So it can also form a part of your MCQ. Alright, MCQ. So the question is the project currently covers 6 districts, namely Kohima, Mogokchong, Beren, Toensang, Woka, and Shamator. It is across 7 landscapes, 13 CCAs, and 64 villages. So this can form a part of your MCQ. Now it was informed. So this is regarding this elephant and human conflict. Okay. So it was also informed about the human-elephant conflict mitigation plan prepared by the Wildlife Institute of India with the focus areas in Woka and Mogokchong district. A human-elephant conflict control room has been established in Woka. So when you go through your notes, or so when you make notes on your environment, please study human. I cannot write well here. Human wildlife conflict. Okay, you please study human wildlife conflict. Man interesting as topics can 1 2 and one more is there. So itu interesting topic tinda ase para discuss ko Monday. So we'll come back to this 3 at the end. This Newland calls for sensitization on the village council powers. A meeting between district administration, police officials and civil society organizations under Newland district was held on February 25 at the conference hall of the Deputy Commissioner's office to discuss amendments to Section 4 of the Rules of the Administration of Justice and Police, the 5th Amendment of 2025. Those who are preparing for remains, you can always go and make notes on this one as well. It was all about sensitizing about the powers and functions of the village councils. Alright. Tele MANAS itu awalnya scheme as day. Sorry, this is a initiative. So itu Tele MANAS to please study for 2 to 5 marks. Okay, 2 to 5 marks. Mains karni purbi MCQ karni important as prelims or NSSB karni. Tele MANAS National Tele itu Tele to ase aru MANAS to Mental Health Program of India na National Tele Mental Health Program Tele MANAS. So someone from this news viewers actually itu Tele MANAS laga full form likhi dibi de, full form. So this is your second homework for today. So itu kya ase kuli do Tele MANAS access support anytime anywhere through the Tele MANAS. It is about the mental health and laga se available 24/7 in 20 plus languages all over India. So call us for any of these concerns. If you're feeling sad, if you're anxious or stressed, if you have a sleep problem, if you have exam stress, family problems, suicidal thoughts, substance related issues, relationship problem, memory problem, financial stress or any other mental health concern issues. And need to say that over the past 3 years that they have helped with more than 30 lakh calls. So you can always make use of these very things when you're making notes for 2 to 5 marks. So call Tele MANAS. It's a free toll free number. So apuni paisa recharge na lagibo itu karne you can just call 14416 is the number. You can also download. So we are left with just the 3 articles. Yeah, DHE, the Directorate of Department of Higher Education, Nagaland, signs an MOU, that is a Memorandum of Understanding with the Indian Meteorological Department. So it is for the installation of an X-band polarimetric Doppler weather radar at the Dimapur Government College. So the Department of Higher Education, Government of Nagaland, has signed an MOU with Indian Meteorological Department, Ministry of Earth Science, Government of India, and the Directorate of Higher Education, Kohima. So the MOU, duly vetted and approved by the Government of Nagaland, was signed in the presence of Damjanim Nalok, Minister for Higher Education and Tourism, Government of Nagaland, Sarita Yadav, IAS, Secretary, Higher Technical Education, V. Lovitoli Sema, NCS, ex-officio, Director, Higher Education, and Indian Meteorological Department, representatives and department officials. So in this MOU, the Government of India has decided to install one X-band polarimetric Doppler weather radar in the state of Nagaland at Dimapur. So this is important for your MCQ type of a question, alright? So MCQ kiन आइबो गलिदो इटु मेन्सन गर्न बेउ भरे कि X-band polarimetric Doppler weather radar do Nagaland te kutu jagah de ase हैन. So it's in the Dimapur Government College, Oriental Colony de ase to Dimapur. So this comes under Mission Mausam scheme. So this Mission Mausam is also very important for your exam, especially for your descriptive up to 2 marks. Now 2 marks la beyond 2 week ta pabana de avana pare will be any 2 marks kane prepare gulido. You can make use of it while you're writing your while you're making use of it as an example, or this question itself directly pare. Okay, so this will augment improvement in the field of weather forecasting and agriculture meteorology, more particularly for the Nagaland region, enabling for framing better policy planning and public safety in general to save lives and property. So this approach will help both institutions to improve the understanding of weather hazards associated with the Nagaland region for better operational weather forecast, the MOU stated. Disaster management training for first responders begins in Dimapur. So the 2-day disaster management training for the first responders commenced on Thursday at Hotel Saramati in Dimapur, organized by the Directorate of Information and Public Relations, Nagaland. So the program aims to strengthen emergency preparedness, response skills, and coordination during disaster. So the training brought together journalists and media personnel from print. Yadi ekta very important ekta asde for the exams. You can always make use of these concepts, these suggestions that has been given here for your answer writing and all. The training brought together journalists and media personnel from print, electronic, and digital platform on day 1, while day 2 will be attended by in-service officials and staff of the IBR department. The first session, moderated by the Achumo Kuvung, LTA Directorate of the IBR, focused on the role of the media in disaster management. See, this itself becomes one topic that you can make answer on. Okay, so itu lagado apuni suggestions kan yati prabi low paro, that is coming from the experts themselves and those who are in charge of it. So you can extract some very important points from here and put some other value addition from your side as well. So Rose described the media as a key partner in disaster governance, stating that responsible journalism can save lives. She stressed that accurate, timely, and verified information during emergencies prevent panic, they curb misinformation, and ensures critical safety instructions reach affected communities. Highlighting the ethical reporting, she outlined key tools and tones for journalists covering disaster. So itu kuribi or itu nukuribi. Na ki kuro lage, ki nukuro lage. Itu type of highlight kurina se it precise. She urged the verification of the information from the official sources before publication, and promotion of the preparedness and safety guidelines, fact checking of the casualty figures use of official communication channels, and providing context on the disaster causes and prevention. So during a disaster will happen hoje now, why and what are the causes of that very disaster, and also the prevention kiki suggest ko pare from a very genuine source. Okay, itu ambi tang ko parbo fact check ko lage kunwa time to ajikal AI bpc ajese. So ekjun morise boli to 10 জন মরছে 20 জন মরছে নেবি পনাই না মানুহ তো স্প্রেড করব এটো ফেক্ট চেক করনা ক্লিয়ার করলা এটো তানা একটা রেসপন্সিবিলিটিস আছে একটা সে গ্যাজুয়ালিটি ফিগারস মই কোৱা নিচিনা এক 10 জন মরছে বলি কোনো নিউজ রিপোর্টে মিস্টেক প্রানিলে তান হাইপ করলে টিআরবি কারণে আনইথিক্যাল মিন্স বি ইউজ করে দেয় দ্যাট দে স্টার্টেড showing the figures more, no? So that they would be hooked onto the news. And then preparedness and then safety guidelines can be taken through official sources right to spread code usually people will also be aware and then you be careful thaiku paro. She cautioned against spreading rumors or unverified social media content, sensationalizing tragedies, disclosing victims identities without the consent. So victims can identities can be misamishi disclosed to like just like that, because sometimes it might lead to panic attacks of their beloveds, as well as for the viewers as well. No, itu bra victims can identities can be misamishi disclosed to like without the consent of their near and dear ones. So obstructing emergency operations or exaggerating damage and casualty figures. So she also emphasized principles of truthfulness and integrity, respect for privacy and dignity. No, kunwa jagati to ki hoy manuman chukom hoina hospital de lui jaise hat thing bhangi se, still they will put their microphone na mukte microphone kosai thina kushin hodibo manuman tukte thakam dibi inika journalism bi thaki just for the TRP. So itu kan sob nukro lage that we should have this respect as well and privacy, humanitarian and empathetic reporting, okay, and awareness of compassion fatigue. Journalists were encouraged to focus on resilience and recovery alongside destruction and avoid intrusive questioning on graphic imagery that exploits suffering. On the operational role of the media during the disaster, Ross underlined the need to deliver timely and factual measure updates, advised the public on safety measures, evacuation routes, and shelter locations. So tagambre to evacuation routes ko tipra tan chawo lagi rasta itu safe hobo aru ko ti chaina tagan shelter lobo itu locations kan na itu kan only schemes kan kono lashing bi utana welfare protection kan karne kiba kibi government bra update dishe kuri do itu kan tik time de tagan bi tuhandukan ki chanai diwo like. She further explained provisions of the National Disaster Management Act 2005. Those who are preparing for mains, please focus on this very particular act as well, outlining the disaster management structures from national to disaster district level, including the National Disaster Management Authority, Nagaland State Disaster Management Authority. Also this one, not only the National Disaster Management Authority, but you should also study about Nagaland State Disaster Management Authority in detail. District Management Authority, District Disaster Management Authority, and the response forces, such as the National Disaster Response Force and the State Disaster Response Force. The second session, it was conducted by Kenny King, the Fire Prevention and Audit Officer, Fire and Emergency Service, Government of Nagaland, on basic fire safety and relevant sections of the Nagaland Fire and Emergency Services Act 2021. He stressed coordinated response during the disaster situation. So it informed that under Section 23, Clause 3 of the Act, multi-storied buildings above 15 meters and special buildings such as educational institutions, hospitals, nursing homes, assembly buildings, businesses, mercantile, industrial, storage, and hazardous occupancies must obtain a fire safety certificate. Now, mixed occupancies exceeding 500 square meter are also required to secure the certificate for the entire building. So itu kan highlight ko dishe. And this will be the last article for today, and it is very interesting and important. So this is not coming from my side or from research, but it is coming from one individual perspective. Okay, So you can take it or leave it. It is up to you. So there's no hard rule or say scientific proof no itu will be tayana opinion ase will be interesting ase. So and this is something that is happening in the state of Nagaland. So itu to mongan sabo or will try to understand. So Aloto HIA, he's the author no, of this very particular article. Morality or reality, modernizing the NLTP Act for a self-reliant Nagaland. Note, this is a contemplation, etched not in stones, but in the brittle ink of finance and faith. This article seeks not to shatter the moral spire, but to shed light on the stark reality of financial depletion. We observe where the shadows strive, the bottleneckers' cult that builds no bridge, the tax loss to Assam's shores. So bottleneckers, the illegal ones who used to sell alcohol, who used to sell liquor, despite having a ban on in the state of Nagaland. So it is only benefiting them. It is not building any bridges for our state. It is not contributing anything to the state's treasuries or the exchequer. And the tax that are lost to the government or to the Assam's government. So it is only benefiting Assam and not the state of Nagaland. And you in some wine stores, in one day they can even sell up to 30 lakhs to 2, 3, 4 crores of liquor in a day, okay? So just imagine, ek saal dekhi man da mohon chahe. So we will be continuing more on this very article. So this is a plea for measured light, a middle ground where morality finds an ethical collaborator and economic streams flow not to syndicates but to the state's heart. Read this not as a decree of defeat but as a vision for adaptation. As Nagaland faces a modern fiscal crisis, the 37-year-old prohibition law stands as a wall between our past intentions and our future survival. It is a time to trade an unenforceable ban for an ethical state-funded partnership with the church. Nagaland stands at a crossroad where the moral spire of our faith meets the stark reality of our empty treasures. The Nagaland Liquor Total Prohibition Act of 1989, please prepare a very full-fledged note on this one up to 50 marks, was a shield forged in a time of social crisis, born from the courageous advocacy of the Naga Mothers Association and the Nagaland Baptist Churches Council. In the comment section, please write the Naga Mothers Association as well as the NPCC. When was it established? If you can find the date as well, it will be very helpful. Okay, date and the year. Its intent was noble, to shield the Naga family from the scourge of addiction. But today the shield is so brittle that it serves only to cast a shadow where the bottlenecker thrives. We live in an economy where Nagaland is surrounded by the booming wet porters market of Assam. We say Nagaland is a tri-state when it comes to liquor, total prohibition kwese, but we can see how the syndicates are blooming, how the bottleneckers are thriving, and how our porters are marked by porters to be alag state in the going no. Nagaland kari rakina thengbra jana mutu kinna ho bare Assam. Okay, inigala situation ase. So the reality is visible to anyone traveling our porter road from Khatkati to Lahorichan. A booming economy thrives on the leakage of the Naka wealth. To itu mutu kiniwale cha Naka mano ni manchun mutu kiniwale ek tin de. Just imagine. Ek tin de even word crores pi khaire gola Naka ando. We never know. So this mutu kinala paisa to kuti jaise Assam de jaise do. And itu paisa to tax pi kun bai Assam government bai do. To itu tax labra takan to itu rasta develop kore ase healthcare facilities ti invest kori ti ase. What here Nagaland tatebra mutu pabo kinina aise mutu bi quality pia pabo because some people will be mixing the spurious spirits and liquors sosta gordi bole na tan extra profit kole ekta bottle to duita bottle ponai dibo and you're not low quality ponai dibo amen to napai ki pai to khabo no pai na khaite health effect ho Nagaland the proper infrastructure nai in the long run again kite mutu la bimar lai jao aro same thing treatment karne alag state de jao paisa to alag state kan pao. Okay, so Nagaland to it's kind of a train of wealth situation ekta ho jaise. So this is a capital flight in its purest form. Naga money is building Assam schools and bridges while our own government struggles to pay the salaries or maintain roads. Worse yet, the ban has birthed a syndicate raj. By forcing by forcing alcohol and underground, we haven't eliminated it. We have simply removed quality control and handed the profits to illegal syndicates. Our youth are not being protected. They are being exposed to spurious, unregulated, deadly liquor that fills our hospital beds. Kwa nishina hoi mudu khaise kole hi bimar hobo tai mudu khamanu hi bimar ho mudu khamanu hi moru kola khota bi nohoi will be alcohol or liquor related diseases or say bimar gan illness kan bishi thage, and it will have treatment to it costs a lot, no? Normally as a normal human being, limit te no libi good quality khagan ikun harm de itu piawala khagan do, no, they will have to suffer in their health. The health they suffer from the family effect hobo, family effect hobo, Nagaland be effect hobo, no healthcare sector be benefit na thakibo because they will go have to go to treatment to the other state. Those poor people, no, it's like a healthcare is a privilege kwanishna hota kui thake manan bi, and in the news also we can see that healthcare is becoming a privilege where poor cannot avail even the basic healthcare facilities in yana. So ita to aro recently chief minister microfinance scheme or Ayushman Bharat kandi bi bishi issues olai jaise. So the moral seas and new covenant, the debate about the debate has long been a binary war, the church versus the state. This is a false choice. We do not need to choose between the morality and money. We need an ethical collaboration. Imagine a transition from total prohibition to start smart regulation governed by a social impact fund. Under this model, the state doesn't just collect tax, it earmarks a significant portion of excise revenue specifically for faith-based and community-led rehabilitation. In this framework, the church's role evolves. Instead of acting as a legislative enforcer, now church can do state can laws monobona lage legislative roles stand take up nukro lage. They should be so it does that as exhausted the police force. The church becomes the healer in chief. With state guaranteed funding, the church can operate world-class de-addiction centers and youth life skill programs. So actually church like the come to kiasi the kan awareness dio lage phal kiasi pia kiasi taigana nijola church member ki to buchaina ko lage. Okay, that should be the role of a church. Law and order should be left to the state, and the church should be to teach about the morality, the right and wrongs. Na ki kuro lage ki nuko lage itu tu mano laga nijola church member ki shikawala kamase. Iniga this is a suggestion. And also it is saying that the state government fund crucially state government can the churches can also go on to build and operate de-addiction centers and youth life skills for those who want to, seek refuge, change krumanja, maybe medical help kan do karne. So here the author himself has brought a very good example of a case scenario of Mizoram, where we can also learn a lot from other states, the experiments that was conducted in Mizoram. So lesson from Mizoram's oscillation. Nagaland's journey with prohibition closely mirrors that of Mizoram. Because in 1995, Mizoram implemented a total prohibition only to replace it with the MLPC Act in 2014. So during those recollected years, the Mizoram government successfully captured nearly 60 to 70 crore rupees annually in revenue, funds that were immediately injected into the state healthcare system. However, in 2019, Mizoram reverted to prohibition due to social pressure. So the lesson for Nagaland in 2026 is clear. Mizoram's seesaw policy shows that abrupt full-scale opening triggers social backlash. Therefore, Nagaland should not aim for Mizoram 2014 style total opening. So liquor prohibition to khuldi kwado ekbar so khuldi bi ina ko bin hoi so khule we might doesn't mean that one shirt will fit all. What happened to Mizoram will happen in Nagaland ko bin hoi, it might happen because history is a proof itself. So aste regulated opening korishi boli to hitui palase. Okay, policy regulation thagina. Therefore Nagaland should know, okay, instead we should adopt to a graded approach, protecting the social fabric while slowly reclaiming the economy. Mizoram's struggle proves that prohibition is not a permanent seal, but a policy that requires constant, honest re-evolution as the economy evolves. A graded vision. We need not to open the floodgates overnight. A middle path offers a gradual safe transition. Tala suggestion gives heritage and hospitality. Let us legalize our indigenous fruit wines. This empowers our farmers and turns Nagaland into wine tourism destination akin to the vineyards of Europe or Nasik celebrating our local produce. Maybe uh, quite quite idealistic to some extent, but no, we never know. We have not done that, but to some extent it seems idealistic, but scope to ase. Okay, statutory oversight. Let the church and the colony authorities have a seat at the table. Grant them the legal power to audit, license, and enforce. No, I don't think a church will be willing to come and sit at a table where they will have to license and audit the liquor, about the legalizing liquor stores and all. Okay, or say no sell zone. So near schools and places of worship. So this gives the community actual control rather than the illusion of a ban. Repatriating wealth. By regulating sales of our borders at our borders, we bring the revenues back home. We turn black money into public goods. In conclusion, in conclusion, this contemplation we must recognize that the NLTP Act of 1989 was never meant to be a stagnant law, but a protective shield. Today, the shield has grown heavy and porous. To suggest a review of the Act is not to invite a flood of vice into our home. It is an invitation to bring the shadows into the light. It is a call to take the power away from the bottled liquors and return it to the community. True morality does not hide behind a law that is broken 1,000 times a day in the back alleys of a town. True morality is found in accountability. By transitioning to a regulated model, we are asking the state to be a responsible manager and the church to be an empowered mentor. So this article was quite enlightening, and like I said, it too exactly you cannot use, okay, but you can take some ideas from there. It can have a perspective for you. It can give you a different perspective, and you can also do a value addition. But don't try to recreate the same article in your own answer. Okay, just take some ideas from there, and it is good to go. With that being said, today already it has extended to almost an hour, the article, so I won't be reading out your comment section for today, but you have done a very good job. Those who have commented, very good. Thank you so much for participating in this very quiz and homeworks that we're learning from you, and all the viewers are also learning from you. So keep it up. I really encourage you guys to be interactive in the comment section as well. I'm happy that very intellectual people are there in the comment section, not boasting or commenting anything that is not relevant or that is uh, improper. So as long as as long as it enriches our knowledge, you can always make use of the comment section uh, to share informations. All right. And regarding the Morung Express newspaper, some of you were asking you want a BTF. You can always go to this Morung Express e-newspaper kuna thakibo. Tati kusina biste you register yourself with an email or your phone number, set a password, sorry, and you can subscribe. So monthly to 99 aze, aro 6 months lado 499 thakibo, aro 1 year lado 799 thakibo nagi. So you can do the subscription there. Iman sosta aze, iman pal aze. So पैसा अलग থাকিছে বুলি হাফ ইয়ারলি খুলিবি তোর সস্তা আছে আর ফুল ইয়ার কৰিছিল আৰু মান সস্তা আছে তো আপুনি ইটো কৰিছে বুলি তো it will be helpful na 1 year কাৰণে তো টেনশন ফৰ নিউজ পেপাৰ তো হাৰ্ড কপিজ কান তো ঠিক টাইম দিবি নাপায় মন হলিবি সফট কপি তো আপুনি তো সাবস্ক্রাইব কৰিছিল ঠিক টাইম দে পাব okay so please do a subscription and I don't encourage sharing in the WhatsApp groups and Telegram channels okay it's not good and even the Morung Express have come up saying that itu share kuradolito is illegal kuishe and it comes under intellectual property rights theft okay so maintain the discipline and the integrity and manukan ki iman share no kuribi whatever you have and encourage them to subscribe to the Morung Express newspaper. Even me have also subscribed to the Morung Express newspaper and I get access from there, so please do that. Iman poisa bi noy olopi ase okay. So with that being said, we'll end our session here tonight. I hope it was a very informative and analytical session. I also thoroughly enjoyed the whole analysis for today. So exam bi osor de aise mains karne morom pra phara puribi and NPSC prelims or NSSB tibule kan bi najani na time so khatam ho jabo to problem bi monti na puribi. That is all that I would like to encourage for now. All the very best. I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you and have a good night. Bye bye.